to everyone, and welcome to season 2 of our Kintech Talkin. For anyone who's just joining us for this episode and this year, this is basically us from Kintech, who are a tech company who actually give a shit in this industry, doing talks with people who basically have a similar ethos to us and care about the industry just like we do. My name's Amin. I'm commercial manager at Kintech, and my partner in crime, who tends to be on these episodes with me, is Stuart.
Hello.
Amazing. And today we have an amazing guest with us. He works in this industry, but he actually works from a different angle to what we would class as our clientele. He's the guy who will find you the staff that you need, and he's also the guy that will put you in a job that you need. He specialises for our industry, so he is a massive asset to anyone obviously looking for staff or looking for work. And he is the wonderful Jamie from JGR. So Jamie, I'm going to let you introduce yourself a bit better than that. So please tell us a bit about yourself.
No, thank you very much for having me as well. I'm obviously Jamie from JGR. We're a recruitment agency that, well, first off, specialises across the umbrella space. So everything you guys know and more. That's what we've initially stepped into. So we've built a really good kind of brand in that market. We've got to know a lot of different people, built really strong relationships in the space as well. I mean, I've recruited into this space now for coming on 4 years, so quite a while. So obviously I've got to know a lot of familiar people. Obviously since then, we've grown as a company. So we're a team of 3 now, soon to be 4. We are currently hiring. So if anyone does want job, feel free to reach out. We're building out a bit more into the financial space, so we've grown into a few new markets. But for myself, my specialty will always be this industry that we know and love.
Excellent. So, how did you first get into recruitment? Like, obviously, what led you to sort of delve into such a niche sector?
So it's a weird story. So when I first got into recruitment, I was actually in my final year of university. So I was still doing a degree. I was living in Liverpool at the time, so I went to Liverpool Uni. And as you do, I feel like when you're at university, you don't feel like you're using your full capabilities. A lot of my time was spent on going out and just messing around, in essence. I'd probably we've all been there. So I think my mum got the brunt of it by me just constantly pestering her, saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I've got so much spare time on my hands. And then, funnily enough, she just sent me a job ad one day for a recruitment role. And I just thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. Well, I've never done recruitment. I've heard about it. There's always mixed signals about what we do. Some people like us, some people hate us. I mean, we're trying to make the brand a little bit better, so we don't really have that side of things. But I applied, jumped on a Teams call, and next thing I knew, I was in a full-time recruitment role, which was maybe a bit naive to think I could do that alongside final year at uni, but I managed to make it work. And funnily enough, my last employers, they worked within the umbrella space, which is how I got into it. So, I mean, I'd never heard of it prior to recruiting into it. I'd obviously done my own research before joining, but it was something completely new to me. I feel that's the same for most people in this industry. Before they've actually stepped into umbrella, they didn't know what umbrella was.
I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, it's a common theme that pops up a lot. So I ended up recruiting into this industry. I did 3 years with them, learned a lot about it, what to do and what not to do. And then from there, obviously took it off and then started by myself.
Oh, and so a bit on the back of that. So what made you want to stay and specialise in the industry?
You know what? I think something that I liked about Umbrella when I first got into it is how kind of the relationships that are in the space. Everyone knows everyone, which is good and bad. So you can't make a mistake. But at the same time, I liked that aspect of you're actually building real relationships with people rather than just focusing on the idea of, which is a lot of recruiters do, is what's the next billion, what's the next role I can fill. We specialise on the idea of actually building a bond and a relationship with our clients, which is what I've wanted to do here, which is why I stuck with it and said, okay, well, if I'm going to give it a go myself, let's stick with what I know and where my relationships lay, and obviously build on that. So obviously since I've set up, I mean, when I used to work at my old place, my book was a lot smaller than it is now. I picked up many more relationships, and I think that's just an asset to show, obviously, what this industry is like, and how everyone backs each other. There's no sorts of rivalry in a way. It's friendly, a lot of friendly competition, which is what I prefer. So it's nice to see. And I think obviously I've seen the other side of that from starting to build out new desks into spaces like mortgages, insurance, similar areas, but that's a very different market. It's very not dog eat dog, but you don't have that friendly vibe across competitors, or people don't know other people, they don't get involved, they stay very much in their own shell. And that's what I love about this industry, and that's why I've always said I'll always specialise in this, no matter how big we get, and then other people can take on new areas for us.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like even when we go to any sort of trade shows or events such as the FCSA, you'll always see us with people in our equivalent roles on the different software providers.
Exactly.
You've always got Sam with his selfie stick wanting to get a picture of all of you together, which is just great. But as it's been said quite a lot, there's enough business out there for everybody, and it is a pretty friendly. There is friendly rivalry, I'd say.
Yeah.
But as you say, I definitely believe when you say everybody knows each other, and everybody's it's a good industry to be in. Yeah, definitely. So Jamie, obviously 2026 we're in now. I think you'll agree the biggest thing that's coming this year for this industry is joint and several liability. What's your perspective on that, and how do you think it's currently impacting the market?
I think, to be honest with you, I think we all have the same opinion. Well, at least I know the majority of us do. If we hear it every day, if you go on LinkedIn, you can't avoid it. So it's well, and I think it's in a way. Some people say, I can't listen to it anymore, but at the same point, it's such a key factor and such a big change for this space that I think it's not in front of everyone's faces. Then we're not doing the job properly because it's so important. It's that area of compliance that goes to show that obviously the umbrellas that do it properly and the companies in the space that take JSL seriously will see the positive impact of it in the future. So I think it's honestly, I think it's a positive impact for our space, and you'll see those grey areas and those companies that don't take it as seriously, aren't acting on it straight away, will have that negative impact to be in a position in a year's time where they think, okay, maybe we didn't kind of react quick enough to what we should have done. So it's good, and I think obviously on the back of that, it's positive for recruitment agencies. It gives them hope, and it makes them realise that if they're dealing with an umbrella, that there's less to worry about because the company they work with or the umbrella they're using is completely compliant, does it down to the book. There's no messing around. There's no blurred lines. So I think it's positive. I can't see the negatives of it. And don't get me wrong, it's caused a lot of people stress. I've witnessed that firsthand from speaking with owners in different umbrellas. But at the same time, there's that long-term goal that when we finally get past April, I think it will be, really positive impacts for everybody, including myself.
Yeah, I think the thing is there's ever since day one, IR35 is now 20 odd years old. Ever since day one, they've always tried to change things. 2017, 2021 with the IR35 changes. Each different governments are always bringing in different bits of change for our industry. But from the umbrellas that you've spoken to so far, do you think they are genuinely prepared for these changes?
I'd like to think so. I think everyone we deal with, so the majority of our clients, I think, have been prepared, and they've started preparing months ago. There's been, and it's, as we said before, and Amin said before, it's an incestuous industry, so you hear about other companies that might not. So some are and some aren't. I think those that aren't, I think they're the ones that, as I mentioned before, I think it will be like a real watershed moment for them in a few months' time where they realise we probably should have been a bit more counteractive and prepared for what might come. But from my own viewpoint on everyone I deal with, people I speak with, I'd say, everyone's prepared. And I think that's my aspect on before talking about it. You only see it on LinkedIn, you see it everywhere. You see every company talking about it and making everyone aware that the changes that are coming. And funnily enough, we've started to see recruitment agencies talk about it, which I think was my biggest key point, is that I think recruitment agencies need to educate themselves on it. And I think umbrellas have done that properly. So I think most of them are prepared. And the ones we work with, I'd like to say, are all ready and prepared for what will come and what the changes will be. So I'd like to say, most people are in that market to know what we're doing.
And if they're not, they need to get talking to people.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think obviously the issue will be there are some that won't see it as an issue. And you hear, a lot about certain companies saying, it's nothing, there won't be any change, the industry will be the exact same. And I just think that level of naivety could be an issue, because obviously if if it isn't what they think it will be, then in 4 or 5 months' time, they'll be backtracking for what other companies did a year ago. So it's better to be counteractive with these types of things and just act on it straight away.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Definitely.
So on the back of that, have you seen much movement in the market then from either candidates or employers because of what's happening and the changes happening?
Yeah. The market at the moment is alive, to be honest. It's the busiest I've seen it in 5 years. So I think that comes off the back of companies now obviously preparing for that. So they understand that certain areas in their companies, or that may be back office, sales, different areas, they want to prepare and have the company tight and prepared for what will come. And I think that obviously means prior to that, with bringing in new salespeople for every umbrella. That's an add-on to say, well, let's try and bring more business in, bring more awareness to the recruitment agencies before April, get everyone prepared, and obviously with the more faces at agency, the easier it is to do that. So a lot of companies are consistently at the moment trying to hire, and that's, as I said, that's everywhere, the whole kind of 360 of the company. On the candidate side, it's the exact same, to be honest. The candidate movement never stops, so it's one that I wouldn't say has had a huge difference. I think the only change I'd say is maybe candidates are a little more hesitant to move, purely because they obviously know they have that safety net.
Cool.
Makes sense. And do you think businesses are approaching recruitment differently now compared to 12 months ago, or even if you want to go back 24 months ago?
I'd say they're taking it a lot more slow, and I think it's a good thing. I think the recruitment process isn't as sped up and fast paced as it used to be, which is it's positive and negative, because obviously a lot of us recruiters work in recruitment because we like a fast paced environment. We like to be on the phone, off the phone, and then sending an email, jumping into a meeting, constant movement. But at the same time, it's good because we realise our employees aren't taking the first CV that we send to them. So when it comes to me sending out 5 CVs to a client, every CV is they look through everything, they make sure it's the right one, they do a full interview process. There's no sort of cut corners. So I think they're a lot more hesitant, but for the right reasons. They're not just there's no sort of rush anymore. I think that's the best way to do it, because the recruitment, this is the thing, as I always say, I think there's nothing worse than a bad hire. And obviously what comes with a bad hire is, it can be a pushback of 3 to 6 months, it comes at costs. And also it can affect the team, it can affect a wider pool of people. So I think agencies now, have that be umbrellas or different companies within these industries, they are taking it at a slower pace, but for the right reasons. They just want to make sure they get the right people. There's no kind of wishy-washy in between that. Because I think 12 months ago, you really could. And obviously, we didn't do this, because obviously what we've tried to really show is that we care about our clients. We've always said we'll send 5 exceptional CVs, not 50 good ones. But I know agencies in the past that have worked in similar industries, or this industry, that would just fling 20 CVs and hope one sticks, and eventually they would, and you'd see that same CV move in 6 months' time. Whereas I've seen a lot less of that, which is a good thing. So it shows the recruitment standards improving.
Okay, so continuing a little bit of focus on recruitment. If I was the employer, the end hire, why should I consider to use an agency rather than hiring directly?
So we get asked this all the time. We speak to a lot of companies that will do internal recruitment, or they'll prefer to do their own job ads or their own job search and wait for CVs to come in. And we always say the biggest thing we could do is we have access to candidates that we don't. We have candidates that, for example, approach me and will work with me solely. So they'll put all that. We always say this: you better not to put all your eggs in one basket. When you trust a recruiter, you trust a recruiter, because and this is the whole thing about this. Yeah. The market itself has a good and a bad reputation, and that comes from certain recruiters doing business wrong. So what we can say is the reason why I'd say use a company or an agency like JGR, for example, is that we can offer you a candidate pool you won't get through that CV database, and we'll do the full screening process. We look after the process from start to finish. It takes, for one, it takes a whole load of stress off the employer, and they don't have to deal with sitting through 200 CVs. But the other side of that, which is the most important side, is you don't always get the same CVs through a job ad as that we already have on our books. We could even put a job ad out at the same time, and we might get a completely different batch of CVs, which goes to show that kind of old school idea of just let me throw a job ad up on Indeed. We'll get you 200 applications, but how many of those are actually worth a conversation? And also, it's a time thing. you could end up spending 2 weeks, sifting through 200 CVs, interviewing 20 candidates, and not one of them fits the bill. Whereas we can send you 5 CVs, and one of those is the right person for your company. So that's what we've always said. It's just there's a lot of different things, but we always say that we get access to those candidates that you might not be able to get hold of yourself.
Cool. So on the flip side, if I was a candidate considering a move,
what are you leaving?
Sorry?
Are you leaving?
Wishful thinking there, pal. Wishful think. I'll get you back for that. So yeah, on the flip side, if I was a candidate, what are the best first steps when looking for a new role then? Because I've got to be honest with you, I've never tried to get a job through an agency.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll always say is you need to understand why you're moving first. I think the biggest issue is candidates will they'll turn around one day and say, listen, I want to find out, I want to see what else is out there, I want to find out about other roles. But if you don't know why you're moving, then it's a lot harder for a recruiter and agency to help you. We've always said it to our candidates, we've always said it to people we speak with, even if they're not on our books or it's just a friend. You need to kind of almost go back yourself and understand what's not right in your company. So what are you not happy about? What are you happy? Then take those negatives into the job search. So if that is something as simple as culture, at least we know. And then it means we can aim and look for companies that fit that bill for you. If you're a younger employee that wants to be surrounded by younger members of staff, or you're a senior member of staff that wants to be able to manage a team, but you've not had that opportunity to progress, you need to look back and say, okay, well, what am I not happy with? What are the key factors that are missing in my current employment that I can gain elsewhere? Because a lot of the time, this is the thing that candidates don't do that. They make a move and they realise it was just a complete sidestep, and there's been no gain for them other than putting them in a different agency. And sometimes, it can be as simple as just wanting a clean start. Or moving to an agency where it just means they can be surrounded by different people because they might have been at the company for 5-6 years. Yeah. And I get that. But a lot of the time, that's never the case. And it will always be something they've not really thought about, which is why I always say, go away and work out what are the key factors of why you're actually looking to move. This is always my one piece of advice to anybody looking.
I like that. I like that. And are there any common mistakes that candidates make during the process?
Being far too focused on salary. I'll be honest with you, it's the only one I'll come up with. You think there'll be a lot more issues that the candidates have, or other mistakes you see them make. Obviously, don't get me wrong, people make mistakes in the interview processes, all these different things, but that's a part of life. Everyone does it. I've done it. But when it comes to the salary aspect, it's, you have candidates saying to myself, I'm earning an extra grand in my current role. It turns out about £50 a week less than that. But that's stopping them making a move, even when they're really unhappy in their current employer. So I always say to candidates, don't focus so much on a basic salary when, there's so many other factors that are limiting your performance, because you can move elsewhere that, it might be a sidestep in terms of your earnings, but within a year's time, you might be able to progress into that next position and you'll see an uplift anyway. So that thing that you're not getting straight away will be there in the long run, or will be there in 6 months to a year. So I always say, just don't focus on salary. It's the one thing I see far too often. And it's, as I said, it's like you've got candidates that get hung up on the idea over £1,000 to £2,000. It makes very little difference to your overall package. And I get it. The biggest thing everyone looks for is okay, what are my earnings going to be? It would be very hard to turn up to work every day if you weren't earning any money. But it's one of those. Don't have that as the key factor to why you want to move.
You've got to still want to go to work, haven't you? Exactly. Somebody can offer you an absolute stack of money, but if you don't want to go to that job, it's still the wrong job, isn't it? You've got to get up in the morning and still want to go to the work.
Yeah, well,
there's no price on mental health.
No.
Yeah, you need to enjoy when you turn up to work every day. You need to like your team. You need to get along with people you work with, and also you need to actually enjoy what you do. So I always say, if you're not happy in your current employment, but then because there's the key factor for you is that the basic isn't maybe touching the right amount, but you'd be 10 times happier in this new role. Don't stop that from helping you make that move. Otherwise, you will find yourself becoming very stagnant. So it's I always say, just don't get too hung up on the base salary. You'll make that back, especially if you're a sales role. You'll see that in commission, but it's one of those. It's not something to worry about. You can earn that.
Yeah. So you touched on a couple of minutes ago that JGR might be looking into different sectors. So hypothetically, the next phone call into your office, it's Jim Radcliffe. He wants you to recruit the next Man United manager. What's that process going to look like? It's only a bit of fun, this, by the way, Jamie. This could be your new sector.
It's a funny question. I mean, what I would say is, to start with, that whole back office and ownership needs to go. That would be my first move. I think, hire a whole new back office. I mean, I'm a United fan, obviously, if anyone doesn't know, but there needs to be, that back office needs to change so quickly. And I mean, the issue is I don't know where I go with what manager to look at. We've had so many high standard, Jose Mourinho, Van Gaal, good managers, and nothing's worked. So I don't really know where you take it. I don't know. I mean, if these guys can't do it, I don't know how I can. So it's funny, because I'd like to. Obviously, I want to see Manchester United back in the Premier League. So I'll do everything I can if I took over that recruitment process to help them hire the right people. But I think if we're not hiring Pep Guardiola, I don't think we're going to win anything anytime soon.
Imagine if Pep left City to join United.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see it happening, but I think they're the big kind of moves that need to be made with their recruitment process to see any sort of real change. And also, when it comes to the next transfers we bring in, we actually need someone that is a proven goal scorer, not someone that is supposed to be a goal scorer. So that's one thing I look at as well.
Yeah, Jurgen Klopp's not available, by the way.
Yeah.
He said a good manager, didn't he?
Oh, come on, Cashew.
But I think it'd be easier discovering the elixir of life, getting Sir Alex Ferguson to sip of it and bring him back.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's that'd be painful to see any sort of losses underneath Alex Ferguson. I saw a few people talking about bringing him back, and if he can't do it, then no one can. But I think we're doomed, to be honest. I don't think there's much of a recruitment process that can help us out anytime soon. So I think if I got offered that job, I'd step away very quickly.
Brilliant.
All right, I think Ole is going to be at the wheel soon again.
Yeah, you know what? He's been our most successful manager in the last 5-6 years. So I'm more than happy to have him back. Bring him back. He's at the wheel.
Amazing. So, speaking of this year, and obviously looking ahead to the rest of the year, what are your professional resolutions?
I think with us, I think our obviously kind of next moves and where I want to be is, obviously I want to see the team grow to start with. So that's one of our kind of aims as a company, not just for myself. Also build out into a few new places across the financial service sector, so a few new markets, as we're already doing. A personal goal and expectation for myself is to give myself some time off and just be able to stop worrying so much about having to constantly be on top of everything. And something I realised over the festive period, I did take a few days off and I came back feeling 10 times better than I did before. So it's something that I'm going to take into 2026 and make sure that, a day off here and there is actually helps you increase your productivity more than anything else. But yeah, I want to see the company grow a little bit. As I said, we're hiring, so that's the next stage. Go out into a few new markets. And yeah, I think a goal for us this year is, in our first year we did 53 placements. So I'd like to see us replicate that or increase that. Obviously, as we've grown, I think the next step will be to go 75. So it should, hopefully a big year ahead for us.
You kind of answered my next question, because I was going to ask you from a personal level, what's your sort of New Year's resolution on that? But by the sounds, it looks like you want to be able to obviously have a bit of time off, which I think is really important, by the way. I think that's going to be one of our key takeaways, I think, for today, is that people sometimes need to realise they can stop.
I know.
You don't have to do 100 mile an hour every day and all year round.
Yeah.
Because I think
it's that
do
worry
need to recharge your battery.
Yeah, it's that worry where you think, okay, well, if I step away, then there's going to be an issue with the company. You won't be able to operate properly. You'll miss out on certain roles that are live at the minute. But I've always said, I could sit here for 7 days straight recruiting for 5 different roles. But if I was able to give myself 1 day off in between that, my productivity when I came back on that 4th day would be miles better. Yeah. Whereas the output of work you give when you don't take any time off is nowhere near as good. And obviously, I've learned that the hard way. I burnt myself out in my first year, where I ended up saying, okay, well, I really do need to take a step back and stop fixating so much on the idea that if you're not involved within the company, you won't be able to operate. I mean, obviously, when I was by myself for the first 6 months, it did have a direct impact. But now there's 3 of us, it's a lot easier for me to say, well, take a day off because you've got some people that are looking at what you were looking at the day before. So, and also, just that level of, it increases your productivity, it makes you feel better. And you want to go back to work, it excites you. Those 2 weeks off when we closed the office, we were still working from home, but I was buzzing to get back in on Monday morning, which is a weird thing to say because I've never said that before. But I was excited because, you're going into a new year, a lot of things to look at for the year as well. And just kind of, we obviously got a lot of hopes and aspirations, and hopefully we can kind of reach them all. So, yeah, it's exciting for us.
Yeah. And obviously, I know what a hard worker you are, mate. 8 a.m. starts every day still, isn't it?
Yes, 8 a.m. Everyone's in the office for 8 a.m. We're usually here till about 6. And if you need us after hours, we're still available, so don't worry.
I'm just waiting for your TikTok to come out where at 6 in the morning you're dipping your head into a ball of ice, going for a jog at 7 a.m. In the office at 8.
I'm not part of the 5 a.m. 6 a.m. club yet. I still get myself up quite early, but I always prefer that extra half an hour, 45 minutes in bed. I'll go to the gym after work. I'm not dealing with that before the start of the day. It's not me.
I agree. Stuart's the opposite. So Stuart's in the gym at like 5 a.m.
No, 6 on a Tuesday.
It's impressive. I couldn't do it. So fair play.
No, I couldn't either. So obviously, from that, I am going to actually ask you something a bit more, obviously, a bit more serious, really. So charity is really important to us at Kintech. We tend to do at least one charity event or something for charity on an annual basis. And I know last year you did a charity work, which was a walk from Anfield to Altrincham.
Yeah.
And I want to first congratulate you on that because you raised over £5,000 for CALM, which obviously is a campaign against living miserably. Do you want to tell us a bit about that? Obviously, what made you do that? Obviously, again, raising such a great money for such a great cause as well. It'd be great to know about it.
So, I mean, one of my childhood friends, someone I went to uni with him, I've known him for a long time, my best mates. So he took his own life about just over a year ago, actually. And it was obviously something that affected me and a few of my close friends, including George, who works here. George knows him personally too. And obviously after that had happened, it was something, that you take into account a lot more. I think the issue is with a lot of men, we don't talk enough about our feelings and how we actually feel, especially when it comes to your own mental health. It's always annoyed me, the idea that you can't open up to people or turn to your friend and say, listen, I'm going through this at the moment. So when that did happen, I think it was a bit of a realization, a bit of a moment for a lot of us to say, well, we need to have each other's backs, because if this can happen to someone so close to us, for it to happen again, it would be devastating. As devastating as it was something where it was a moment for us to realise, well, we need to be there for each other. Which eventually, I think me and George had to sit down and we said, what could we do to kind of raise a bit more awareness for it? And something that me and him have always been dead keen on charity and getting involved in these types of things. So we said, well, what can we do? I mean, he was a Liverpool fan and he played for Altrincham through his entire life. So we thought, what was it? His favourite thing was football. He liked F1, but I'm not an F1 fan, so I wasn't getting involved in that. So we decided to make the walk from Anfield football stadium to Altrincham football stadium. It was about 55 kilometres, give or take. So it took us about, I think it was set to be about a 10-hour walk, 11-hour walk, but we managed to box it off in around 9 hours. So we'd sped up quite a bit. I mean,
well done, mate.
Something like 12 minutes of stops throughout the whole walk we did.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, we raised way more money than we expected, which was amazing to see. I mean, I think our original goal was £1,000. So to obviously get to the day when we were making the walk, to see £5,000 was unbelievable. And also it just gives back to a really good charity. I mean, they've got in touch with us prior to us doing it, and it's nice to see that these little things can have such a positive impact on so many people. And the amount of messages we received just thanking us for us doing it, and it obviously makes you realise that it just is something that isn't talked about enough, which I want to get out there more and realise you can talk to anybody, and even if it's not a friend, I know enough people that would be open to say, well, listen, just drop me a message and have a quick chat.
Well done, mate.
Well done.
Really well
Yeah,
done.
good effort, mate. Good effort. So obviously, last year we did a joint paddle event with you. Hopefully, I believe there's another one in the planning. It seems to be a little bit of a sore point for my mate Cashy over there. I don't know why. Any reasons why that could be, Jamie?
I don't know if I speak, I'm in trouble. I'm not. I can't say anything.
I don't know what it is.
Jamie, if you don't speak about it, you're going to be in trouble because this is what I've been waiting for.
I don't know what Stuart's getting at.
He's a good paddle player. He's a good paddle player. I'll give him it. But he just hasn't.
He's very competitive at everything he does.
Yes. But I mean, the last paddle event, you turned up, you won a few games.
But what's the score? What's the score between Jamie and Amin?
I'll let you answer that one.
Well, this doesn't make sense, Stuart, because we're on the same team at the tournament.
Yeah,
but we did have that. We did have that paddle account management / meeting with a couple of people in the industry. You did partner with the guy who worked there.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that. My skill carried him.
So I still haven't been given the score.
I lost. If you asked what you're getting at, but I won at life that day.
Brilliant.
It's good to turn up. That's all that matters.
Yeah. My next question was going to be: are there any rivalries formed? But I'm working on this one.
Yeah.
To be honest, shout out to Johnny Patel.
Yes, yeah.
Johnny, to be fair, he came. I think it was his first time playing at the event we did, wasn't it? And I think he really got into it. And he's a great guy as well. So hopefully, whoop his ass at the next tournament.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. I mean, it's that's what I like doing these paddle tournaments because it's networking in a different way. It's not your standard turn up to a round table or a very formal kind of way of getting to meet new people in the market or just, as I said, network. So I enjoy it. It adds a bit of fun to the space. Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I think what we found as well is that obviously myself and you, when we did the one where it was more of a meeting with obviously people in the industry, we actually had some really good chats when we were just taking a break at the nets. And I feel like you sometimes get information and have the conversations that you probably wouldn't around a round table, really. Because people end up creating that rapport, you get your guard down, you really learn each other. And I think I got that really from it. I know people usually get that from golf, don't they? But I found paddle a bit more inclusive personally.
It is.
Biased.
It is. I mean, that's the thing. I think if you can't play golf, you can't really join in on a golf day or go and visit a client playing golf. Whereas paddle, you can still go if you've never played. It's easy enough to pick up. I mean, there's so many kind of variables as well. Everyone that's come down that hasn't played before, maybe played a bit of tennis back in the day or squash. It helps you pick it up straight away. And as you said, it's something where I think it does help you kind of put your guard down because you're not in such a business environment. And it's not all, this is the thing, it's not all directly about what we do in work. But at the same time, you talk about a different aspect of that. It's not just being sat in a room and you already know what the conversation's going to be. So it's that's why I enjoy it, and it gets people out of comfort zones. It helps people get to meet new people, and it just gives us something to look forward to as well.
I'm definitely looking forward to the next one as well. And I've had people ask about when we're doing the next one. So hopefully, I think we're going to do this one in Northwest. Get a bit more different people at this one. So obviously, anyone listening, keep your eyes and ears out for that one. And on the back of Stuart trying to stitch me up at me being over competitive, I'm going to actually ask you about Death Row.
Yeah, go for it.
So one of the things we are going to do for season 2 is we're going to ask every single one of our guests, if you're on Death Row, what is your Death Row meal? And it is a full set menu. So I want starters, I want your main, I want your dessert, your drink. I want the whole shebang, basically, Jamie. But please don't get yourselves on Death Row anytime soon. What would it be?
I'm just pleased. I mean, added the Death Row meal bit because when he started off, we're going to ask you about Death Row next. Yeah. I wonder where that was going.
I mean, to be fair, 3-course meal is quite a hard thing for top of your head. But I think if I was to set a starter, I'd have burrata as a starter. Can't go wrong with that. Then as a main, steak and fries with peppercorn sauce has to be on top.
How do you have your steak?
medium rare. It's cooked no other way.
I like medium rare. I'm the same.
Yeah. Depends on the steak.
I like it a little.
Apparently, ribeye got to be medium, but I do like a rare steak.
And I can't have it where people have it literally just seared on either side. Yeah. Just doesn't do it for me. But I'd say medium rare.
I've had it like that. It's not too bad, But you need nice sauce. It needs to be a good cut. Like if you get a Chateaubriand and you have it rare, you can't have a Chateaubriand rare.
You're not telling me you're going to put a sauce on a Chateaubriand?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, good cut meat don't need a sauce.
Chateaubriand doesn't need sauce. No. That's literally, you just sear it and just eat it because it's just like butter in your mouth.
Yeah, I think a little bit of. I do like some sauce on the side though, just because if the taste gets repetitive, I can then switch it up a little bit. Especially if I've got chips on the plate, I need something to dip it in, which is why I'd always go peppercorn sauce. And then for dessert, I would go with a non-alcoholic tiramisu. It's very strange to say that. I love tiramisu. I can't stand it when there's alcohol in it. I think it's brandy they put in it. I think. And it's just, it ruins the taste for me. Whereas when it's the PG version, I'd eat 12 of them in a row.
Love it. So the next lunch meeting with Kinsek and JGR, we're going to the steakhouse then, are we?
Yes, it's very much.
Cool. I'm trying to do a PG tiramisu.
PG tiramisu. Okay. So brilliant. So just starting to wind things up, Jamie. Obviously, we're on the fun part of it now. So we're now at our this and that questions. So I'm just going to fire some options at you and just shout out which one. So, firstly, tea or coffee?
Tea.
Right. Okay. Calls or emails?
Calls.
Yeah. Podcasts or music?
It's a hard one. I'd go music.
Yeah. Fly or invisibility?
I'll go fly.
Yeah. And I think you've already touched on this, but I know which way I think you're going. Rugby or football? Yeah.
Well done. Proud of you.
And then, would you like to know everything or to be forever learning?
I want to know everything.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. I don't think you can beat that. If I know it all, I don't need to learn. So.
Yep. Good point. And then finally, are you a risk taker or do you play it safe?
Risk taker.
Like that. Yeah. Cool.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us, obviously, on our first episode of the new year. I think you've been amazing. Obviously, some great stuff that we learned about you. The stuff you've done for Calm, obviously, amazing again. Really like the takeaway about, obviously, make sure you don't burn yourself out. So obviously, if there is any entrepreneurs like yourself, anyone looking at setting up, anyone think that burning themselves out, I think that's a really good thing to take from today is make sure you just take a step back. You're entitled to take time off. You're entitled to spend time with family. So thank you so much for your time. Some great and amazing insights into recruitment. Hopefully, obviously, when Stuart sends you his CV, you can help him out. And free me from this.
He got it. He approached me.
No, Talkin, please do not take my partner. Do not take my partner in crime away from me. Say I'm joking on that, but thank you so much, Jamie. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been an absolute pleasure. Massive thank you to you as well, Stuart.
Yeah, no worries. Really enjoyed that, Jamie.
Buddy. Yes, thank you for having me. I loved it.
No problem.
Amazing. Well, have a great time, and I'm sure we'll see you soon.
Yeah, take care, Jamie. Cheers.
Take care. Bye.